Please welcome Professor Itai Pesach, VP of Sheba Medical Center and Director of Edmond and Lily Safa Children's Hospital, interviewed by Shana Fold, Israel Daily News CEO.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We've had such incredible speakers today, and I'm so excited to talk to you about the work at Sheba, which I think has been just growing in importance in the last couple of years.
Yes, indeed. And you know, I was sitting here listening to the previous speakers, and I kind of wondered, why is a physician, pediatrician who runs a hospital, why do I deserve a place in this meeting?
Well, I researched you, and there's a lot of reasons that you deserve to be on the stage for sure.
So I think what Sheba brings, as being one of the leading hospitals in the world, definitely the largest one in Israel, with everything we do, I think at the end, us and also the other parts of the Israeli healthcare system, we're basically factories of hope. And that's kind of what our mission is in here, to remember that throughout all these difficulties and everything that's happening, and the very challenging spot that the Israeli nation is currently facing, we as like the civil society, the part in Israel that continues to provide to those in need, that continues to see everybody the same way, no matter where they come from and what their background is. We're there to really provide hope. And we do that not just by providing like, top-notch medical care. We do that by pushing boundaries and trying to set an example to everybody around us, how things could be and how things should be. How can Israel remain a leader in science, a leader in healthcare, a leader in providing opportunities, in breaking boundaries. The Sheba mission statement is provide hope without boundaries. And this is what basically we've been doing, and I think this is part of what made us one of the leading centers in the world.
Well, certainly hope is tied to resilience, I think. And together, those two qualities are pushing forward in Sheba Medical. Can you talk to us about the resilience of the hospital and the underground facility and what has really improved in the last 2 years? Sometimes improvement comes from pressure. And I'm confident, Professor Pesach, that you've been under a lot of pressure in the last 2 years. Can you talk to us about what has changed, what has moved, what has progressed for Sheba?
Thank you. Definitely the past 2 years have been extremely challenging. I'm a critical care physician, so pressure I don't think affects me that much. Not me and not the other people on my team. We're used to dealing with that. We're also used to dealing with uncertainty. So when things happen, like the 12-day war, the Iranian attack, Israelis attack on Iran, and the fact we needed to move 2,000 beds at the largest hospital in the Middle East to the underground, that indeed was a big challenge. But we did what we do and what we usually do when challenges like that happen. We used our intuition, our agility, our ability to find solution quickly. And we actually moved those 2,000 beds to our underground parking lots. We had to come up with things that we have not expected. How do you continue rehabilitation underground? So we had to use technology, tele-rehabilitation, AI, immersive environments, come up with our partners with solutions that we didn't think about. But in the end, we were left with no other choice. Another big question we had during that time and during the past couple of years is a very important question. There's a war. Hospitals during war have to invest a lot of their resources in treating casualties of the war, but we have still the population of Israel to take care of. We cannot stop treating people with heart disease, with diabetes, with neurological disorders. So we have to come up with ways in continuing on providing care during this time of crisis. And of course, those challenges are actually opportunities, again, to develop technologies, to use AI. I'll give you one small example of that. You know that Israel is now faced with an incredible challenge of mental health, a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder, not just the veterans of the war, but also civilians, children. How do we provide so much psychiatric care to so many people? Well, there hasn't been a huge growth in the resources for that, so we use for that technology. We developed an AI solution that actually does the screening. It's a bot, a humanized bot, where it actually makes the initial psychiatric interview, which is a big and significant part of what needs to be done in order to triage the patient. So now, whenever someone approaches with concern of PTSD, he would be interviewed throughout this AI engine, and that would allow us very quickly to know if he needs immediate attention, what type of attention, and how do we move on from that. And that's just a very small example that runs across the board, because if we would not be using those technologies and would not reinvent ourselves every time, we wouldn't be able to stand with this challenge. But in parallel to that, at the same time, we continue to stand at the forefront of research and of science to work with international partners that continue to come to Sheba as a leading hospital in Israel to run clinical trials, to continue with research and development that has become very difficult with the atmosphere around the world, and it's a major challenge for us. We believe that if we would not break that barrier, it's going to be a huge effect, not just on the Israeli science community, but the international science community, because of what Israel is able to do.
Can you explain for us this bot that is meeting the patients? What does it look like? Is it a computer? Are they typing their responses?
No,
How does it work?
It's an interview. It's not going to feel different to the patient from doing a tele meeting with a provider. It's an interview, sort of a Zoom.
Are they looking at a person's face?
They look at the person. It's very hard to know that is a bot there. And the interview is an open interview. It's just a conversation, the same as we are now doing. The bot is a kind of a understatement. It is a real conversation, and we have run this for a while now, and people are very, very happy with that, because this allows us the ability to give whomever comes to us immediate response. There's no wait. Okay? Before that, people would wait for the initial interview, sometimes for a month, maybe more. And if they are in a significant crisis, a month could be too long.
Very impressive.
Right. And a lot of what we do in mental health is now done by telemedicine. So a lot of it is over a video screen. So the patient here would not really feel a significant difference.
Thank you for getting through that. Tell us about the rehabilitation for soldiers. How has that been improving? Clearly with the AI that you've implemented and you've needed to implement because of the surge. Tell us about that, and also share with us some words about your taking in and meeting of hostages right in their first moment back into Israel. These are two groups of individuals who've been met with immense challenges and psychological difficulties. What kind of preparation has Sheba done? What kind of changes have you made? And emotionally, what has your staff had to do to prepare for the incoming of these vulnerable communities?
So I'll start with speaking about the soldiers a little bit. Sheba has always been the main rehabilitation hospital for Israeli soldiers, and since the beginning of the war, we have treated most of the wounded soldiers that needed rehabilitation. To this day, there are hundreds that we still follow up, and a lot that are still in the hospital. Unfortunately, I think we kind of hope that it's not going to be ongoing, but unfortunately it's going to be there. So we devoted a lot of the resources of Sheba to be able to answer that, and on top of that added, as I said earlier, a lot of technology, a lot of environments, immersive environments that help with the rehabilitation, a lot of tele-rehabilitation. We send them home and do the rehabilitation from afar, and that kind of makes room for the new soldiers that are coming in. So that's one of one of the populations. Of course, the team that treats the injured soldiers has been going through a lot, but I think all of them see that as the peak of their career, because these kids that come in are the kids of all of us. I have a son who's serving, so I don't see any of those soldiers differently than I look upon my own children. As for the hostages, that again was a challenge we did not expect that we would need to meet. 2 years back, the third day of the war, we understood that there are hostages and they were going to need to come back. We hoped it's going to happen very fast, so we prepared very quickly and came up with a protocol that was later adopted by the rest of the Israeli medical system to receive these hostages. Personally, I've been in charge of that aspect at Sheba, and I met all of the hostages personally when I'm more or less the first or second person to meet them as they came back. Some of them I met even before anyone else because they were extracted. They didn't come back in a deal. And that's a major humane challenge.
Can you share one word that reflects your emotion when you were receiving those patients?
You know, I don't think that there's a word that can express that. It's everything goes out of your body, and you're left breathless in the face of these people that are coming. This first minute, the reunion of them with their family members is a moment that's beyond personally anything else that I've experienced. It's a mixture of extreme happiness and extreme sorrow that is all boiled down to a millisecond of the elevator door opening, and the person comes out and they see their loved ones. They see who's there, and they also see who's not there. And we see the person that's coming back, and at the same time know that there are so many that haven't come back yet, and we are so concerned about them and about how they are doing, about their health. And so we had this happen to us this week. We received the captive that came back from Iraq after 2.5 years. These are moments that, when I went to study medicine a lot of time ago, I did not even imagine that I'm going to be witnessing or be part of these kind of things. But on the other hand, this is what we're there for. This is why Sheba is there. As I said at the beginning, there's a lot of hope that we work on every day, and we're trying to shine this hope around, to spread it around, to shine it to the rest of everything that's happening here. If you walk the corridors of Sheba, you would meet injured soldiers that are recovering, hostages that came back, regular people just with their own medical problems. You'll meet Jews, you'll meet Arabs, you'll meet Palestinians. And they are all there with a common goal to get better, to be better, and to have a future.
I think we can all feel that intense sorrow that you were describing when the elevator door comes open. Last question for you, and I'm glad that you spoke about all the different types of faces that you see at the hospital. You're known for taking a stance on helping everyone, any person that comes through. And specifically, I want to ask you about the children that you treat from all different backgrounds. You've been interviewed on the record many times stating that your job is a medical professional and that you don't deal with politics. Can you speak to that?
Well, I think that by treating everyone, you do state something. And I think at the end, once someone, especially a child, is in need, it doesn't matter where they're from, we need to be there to provide care. And I think as Israelis, the fact that we do that, not just that we state that we practically do that we take a child, now in these days, a Palestinian child that needs a heart transplant, and we'll bring them into the hospital, put them on an artificial heart, and maintain them until the heart is found. I think that kind of says everything. Says what the role of again, Sheba and the medical system in Israel is, but also what the state of Israel is all about. So we can run a war, and we need to run it to make and to protect ourselves and to give a future to our children. But at the same time, we need to also provide hope and a future for everybody else.
Thank you so much. Before we conclude our interview, I just want to go back to something that Professor Pesach said at the beginning, which is that he was confused as to why he was with us in this conference, and I think we all very, very truly understand why. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you. Thank you.